Back here at Goldfarb Gymnasium for the second half of this NCAA tournament first round matchup in the Division III men's basketball tournament between the Yeshiva Maccabees and the WPI Engineers. Yeshiva with a 51-30 halftime lead. Connor Newcomb, Akiva Poppers with you as we start the second half. And in that first half, I mean, it was all Ryan Terrell, 23 points. He shot the ball like crazy, but Gabriel Leifer, who only scored 4 points, maybe made somewhat close to as much of a difference as a three goes down there for Halpert. He was plus 24 on the court in that first half. Yeah,
Leifer, just because he's not scoring does not mean that he is not having a big impact on the game. The fact that Leifer is there down low forces WPI to cover up on him, and that leads to better shots for the max shooters outside.
And another miss from Wisniewski, but a nice follow inside. And the other guy we want to talk about in that first half, Garrett Stevenson, a leading scorer on this team, 16 points per game. He had only 4 points in that first half. Now, granted, he took only 2 shots, made them both. They just really couldn't get him the ball in that first half.
Yeah, the Macs were doubling him. The Macs were forcing him at a low post, just making his catches difficult from a positioning perspective.
And Terrell continues. He's got another 3. He's up to 26 points, and he just has given himself the Yeshiva all-time single-season scoring record with that three-pointer.
Yeah, now he's at 601 points. He passes 601 points. He passes Simcha Halpert, who is on the floor for the Macs right now as the leading scorer in a single season.
So Stevenson now all of a sudden getting himself involved, and he's got 4 points in the first half, and then all 4 points to start the second half.
Yeah, it's a good sign for WPI, even though the Macs are hitting their shots early on. The fact that Stevenson has been able to get down low.
Leifer misses, long rebound, and it's picked up by Halpert. Tried to feed it over to Leifer, and Terrell somehow gets it and banks it home. And he is red hot.
He's just unstoppable. Terrell 9 for 11 from the field. WPI simply does not have any answers for the Max 6'7" Swiss Army Life.
28 points for Ryan Terrell, the sophomore from Los Angeles, the 2020 Skyline Conference Player of the Year. Came in averaging 23 points a game to go along with 6 rebounds and 3 assists. As that shot's no good. Led the Skyline Conference, shot it over 62% from the floor. For a guard who likes to shoot the 3 as well, to shoot at that percentage is kind of unheard of.
Yeah, he put on 20 or 25 pounds in the offseason in an effort to become more of a post player, though. So it really wasn't surprising to see him become more of a two-point shooter this season.
A steal from WPI. They're just looking for open shots at this point. Wisniewski hits it. He had a struggle in that first half. Picked up 3 fouls, had to sit for a good amount, but he knocks down that jumper as he's now got 9 points on 3 of 7 shooting.
Yeah, and once again, even though the Macs are coming out of the locker room hot, WPI has to be excited with the fact that their offense is really running well in the second.
Terrell. It's unstoppable. He's got 31.
Connor, I don't know what to say. There's nothing the Engineers can do to stop Terrell at this point in the game. Nothing. If they try to double him 35 feet out, like, what are you supposed to do?
31 points as the turnaround jumper is no good, and the rebound is tipped out to Halpert. 31 points. He's 10 of 12 from the field as Halpert's going to get 2 shots. He's also 6 of 8 from deep, 5 of 7 from the line. You add in 4 rebounds and 2 assists. It's been a complete game for Ryan Terrell.
Yeah, and WPI now down by 26. A larger deficit than in that Coast Guard game where they were up by 25 in the championship. It's going to be very difficult for them to come back right now.
Eitan Halpert at the line. Hasn't shot a whole bunch of free throws this year as that one rattles home. Just 11 for 17 on the year at the free throw line, but he hits the first.
Yeah, he makes his money from outside. Even though he can drive inside and get fouled, he loves to sit on the perimeter, just like his brother Simcha.
So these two teams meeting in the opening game of the NCAA Division III men's basketball tournament today, and Yeshiva with a healthy advantage right now as it continues to grow here in this second half as Halpert will get 1 of 2 and they lead by 27. For Yeshiva, it's their second ever NCAA tournament appearance. The first one came 2 years ago as in the 2017-2018 season, they went 18-11, 13-7 in the Skyline Conference, won the conference, and were knocked out in the first round of the NCAA tournament that year. But this year just feels completely different. Not only are they on their way if they can hold on to their first ever NCAA tournament victory, but that year, you know, at 18-11, they definitely had to win the conference to get in. This year, you know, they even would have had an argument had they not won the Skyline tournament. And at 27-1, they're ranked in the top 25. This is a team that this time around could really make a run.
Yeah, and last time it was no Terrell. It was Leifer in his first semester. The Macs really improved in that second half of the season in 2017-18, and you saw it. But because they had a bad first half of the season in 2017-18, they were forced to play York, a host, a top 12 school in the country. So a little bit different here. WPI is an extremely good team, but they're not top 10 in the country, per se. So the Macs, by getting that 27-run record, by winning 27 in a row, allow themselves to get an easier first-round matchup.
There's Lowther inside, turning. Tough left-handed shot. It goes for the freshman. And for Yeshiva, you mentioned they went to York, a team that Hopkins beat way back in December this year. But 2 years ago, played the Spartans on the road as they hosted that regional. It was an 81-67 win for York in the first round back in 2018, and Yeshiva's first ever NCAA tournament game. Leifer had a good game, 18 points, 6 rebounds. And Donnie Katz had 15 as well, but it just wasn't enough against the Spartans, as a corner three is no good, and the rebound to the freshman John Gates.
Yeah, and WPI now really pushing the pace a little bit, realizing that they're going to have to score buckets rapidly.
Inside to Stevenson, had a nice start to his second half, gets doubled, and Leifer knocks it out of bounds.
Yeah, we saw the Macs doubling Stevenson throughout the first, keeping him uncomfortable, as we have a timeout on the floor.